Yes.
All right, looks like everybody is filtering in. Welcome, one and all. My name is Michael Wilson. I'm your Deputy Scout Executive here in San Jose, California for the Silicon Valley Monterey Bay Council. We're excited to welcome any and all new leaders for our meeting tonight. Our focus is on new leaders. This is a series of these Zoom meetings. We'll have one tonight focused on new leaders, and we'll have one coming up for all leaders. If you are an Eagle Week 2 parent, we'll be having one of those specific, and maybe for that group in the coming weeks as well. We're going to get started here today. We do have this meeting being recorded. We will send out the slide deck after this meeting, post it in a place that is accessible to all. Did want to introduce our team here today. As I said earlier, I'm Michael Wilson. I'm your Deputy Scout Executive. I have the pleasure of working alongside our camp staff year-round, make camp a success for the 1 week that you guys are there, enjoying beautiful weather, Sonora, California. I'll turn it over to Bruce Lee, our camp director, to introduce himself and kick it off with his team.
Hi, everybody. My name's Bruce Lee. As Michael said, I'm the camp director for High Sierra. This will be my 12th season. Hard to believe, but it's such a beautiful place. I just keep coming back. So looking forward to seeing everybody tonight, and we'll pass it on to Michael.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Conover. I'm going to be up at camp this year as your program director, and I'm excited to be coming back as my second year. And I'm going to pass it over to Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom Lakovic, and I'm serving as the head commissioner this year. My first year as head commissioner, I was on staff a few years ago, so looking forward to coming back. And over to Danny.
Hello, my name is Danny Dodosiak. I'm going to be the assistant program director this year. This is my second year back after hiatus, so I'm super excited to be back.
Perfect. We intend to answer questions live at the end of our meeting today. We'll utilize the chat between now and then. We appreciate everybody's time. We'll dig in. Please utilize the chat feature from now to the end, and then we'll allow folks to unmute and ask questions live when we wrap up. So where are we? We're in the Sierra Nevada mountains. We're off of Highway 108. We're about 3.5 hours from San Jose, California, in Yosemite, Kennedy Meadows, and just an amazing place to enjoy a scouting week with our friends. We come with bugs, critters, and light. So really appreciate the fact that we have 100 acres, beautiful owned land to layer scouting on top of. We are 5,000 feet pretty much on the dot. Hydration is a key of camp. We really appreciate that. I'm sure Bruce will talk a little bit about safety and business as well.
All right, we want to touch a little bit on the camp itself. This is our latest map that we just came up with. You can see at the very top is where the road comes into camp. We have program areas that are on the right-hand side of the river. If you envision camp, we're in a canyon, so all the campsites are to your right up on the hill. The program area is on the flat land down by the river, and then on the left-hand side is our administrative side of the hill, where we have our dining hall, the office, the health lodge, staff housing, and we do have aquatics down at the end. So most everything is about a 5-minute walk between areas. And just to let you know that we are in the Sierra Nevadas, and it is hilly to get up to each of the campsites. So not to be surprised when you get there. All right, next slide.
All right. Weather here you can get daytime highs of 80 plus. Gets chilly in the evening. While we're trying to eradicate the dust, it does still exist. It still will stick to every scout. And a hose may or may not be required when they get home. Make sure that they take their first shower of the week when they arrive back in your driveway. We have 2 shower buildings. We certainly encourage them to do that, but if you've ever had an 11-year-old scout, that's suggested. I did want to note that we do have a short road off the main highway into camp. Every vehicle can make it in doing an appropriate speed. That was one of our pre-questions. We did want to address that for us.
All right. So camps and vehicles. As Michael said, everybody can get into camp. We do have buses that come in on a regular basis bringing scouts. So if you are looking to do a bus, please just let us know so we can plan accordingly. It is a narrow road coming down, but it's not very dangerous. And we just want to make sure we have cars out of the way so the buses have the right of way. It's about 2.5 miles from the road down. We will stop you at the top of the road until you get your whole troop up there. Once you get the whole troop, then we'll let everybody down at one time. You can see in the picture there, we have a new paved parking lot. One of our efforts to cut down on the dust. That was one of our bigger dust bowls was our parking lot. So we will have adequate parking for everybody. We do recommend when you're bringing scouts in that you don't have the parents each bring their own scout. We have had that in the past and we get very congested and it's hard to get people back up the road as everybody's trying to come down. So please carpool by troop as much as possible. All of our campsites, as I mentioned, are on the other side of the river. There is that brown spot, which is usually green right across above the parking lot there. That is our flag meadow. That's where you'll drop off the gear and then it will get moved by either you or transported up to the campsite somehow. So most of the time, everything is walked up to the campsites. All right, next slide, please. All right, I want to go through some of the prerequisites of forms and everything that we're expecting when you get to camp this year. So we need a traditional med form, so parts A, B, and C, C being the one signed by the doctor. If you do not have those, we'll have 72 hours to get that. Some of the things we have to do sometimes is send a scout into Sonora and use one of the dock in the boxes and get them physical there if they don't have a part C or there's not a part C at home that can be sent up to us. All adult leaders or adults over 18 must be compliant with California AB 506, and we'll be checking that with your council. If you're out of council, we will do a verification from your council registrar. If there's any dietary restrictions, please put that in your health form, also into Black Pug when you do your signups. And if you have anybody that has severe dietary restrictions, they can definitely call me a week or 2 weeks before camp, and I can sit there and go over with the parent themselves and discuss any dietary restrictions. So vegetarian for us is not a dietary restriction. We serve vegetarian every meal. We are a no nut in our dining hall, so nothing that we serve contains nuts. We do have nuts in our trading post, but depending on if there's somebody with a severe allergy that is an airborne allergy, we'll remove all of those also. Otherwise, they're labeled contains nuts. So we can go into that a little bit more. And again, if you have a severe nut, or if you have a nut allergy at all, we'll be giving you a call to talk about the severity of the nut allergy. We really would prefer if you could pre-screen your health forms before you get to camp. And what I mean by that is having them sent or brought to our council office. We will go through them and find if anything's missing or if there's just signatures or something that's not in there, and we'll get back to you, and then we can have all of these documents correct when you get to camp, and which will make your process of check-in on Sunday much smoother, because we won't have to try to get the scoutmaster to call back home to find out, can Johnny take over-the-counter drugs, or Jane, where's their medical card? So we need to have the standard AB 506 completely filled out. One thing we do look for in that is the tetanus vaccine. We are an old lumber camp, and metal things come out of the ground all the time. So I can't remember the last time anybody's gotten a cut or anything from it, but we do want to make sure that everybody is current on their tetanus shot. So that's a big one that we look for. In terms of prescriptions, we take the troop attitude on that. We would like the troop to manage giving them prescriptions out to the scouts. That's either the over-the-counter medications or prescription medications. We will provide you with a lockable box that you can put the medicines in. Of course, if there's something that needs to be refrigerated or dispensed by our camp nurse, we'll be more than happy to do that. But most of the medications we find works better if they're done at the troop level. All right. Did anybody have questions on that in the chat? We cover that?
We've got one question in the chat right now.
Okay. Just want to make sure I cover that now. Anything I should cover now, Danny, or keep going?
It's about the pre-screen.
Yeah. And then a question about parking.
Okay. Let me look at those real quick. So the pre-screens would be sent to the council beforehand, and then we will transport them up to camp, so they'll be there when you get there, and we'll let you know that we'll be doing that. There are no accommodations for CPAP machines. We do not have electricity in any sites, but what we recommend and we've found that works well is a rechargeable battery, and we have charging stations that I'll talk about here in a little bit later for recharging the batteries, that you can check out a locker and put your recharging unit in. Also can be used for cell phones, computers, whatever else. Pre-screen forms need to be hard copy right now. We are looking at electronic. Hopefully we'll be there by this summer, but right now I would say the safe way to go is hard copy. All right. I'm gonna go on to the next slide, and I think that's Michael.
Yep. So just to reiterate something Bruce mentioned, so once your troop gets to the top of the camp road, they'll start caravanning down. That process can start at about 1 o'clock on Sunday. Once you fully get down Camp Road, get parked, and get situated, you can start unloading all of your gear into areas in the flag meadow, sorted out by troop. You can do pack lines. We recommend labeling it with your troop number, just so that way, if we do end up bringing any gear up to campsites, we know exactly whose gear is where and which campsite it needs to get up to. Your troop guide will, get you to your campsite, help you get all checked in and moved into your campsite. Some of the priority areas that you need to go to on day one for arrival is into the office, where we'll check the AB 506, into the health lodge, where, if you got pre-screened, it'll be a quick in and out process. Where you'll turn in your medical forms and your shooting sports release forms and get wristbands for that. Area tours, we offer those after dinner. So you'll be able to check and see where all your Scouts merit badges are at each of the given areas and meet all of our fantastic area directors. Dining hall, this is where we'll do any final checks on dietary restrictions, get your final head count numbers to give you as many seats as needed in the dining hall. There will be a staff member sitting at your table, so that we try to, account for that. We'll talk a little bit more about dining hall in a little bit. Swim check, we offer our swim check that first day when you arrive for priorities. So anything aquatics related, we'll get into some aquatics related things in a little bit. And then, of course, getting everything moved into your campsite and getting everything set up. Let me see. So to answer the question about swim checks being done back at home, typically we don't offer like accept those swim checks from back at home, mostly because we are up at elevation at 5,000 feet and the water is really, really cold. So even if someone is on the swim team back at where their home unit is, sometimes they can't complete that swim check on day one. So they can also do it later in that week. If a scout is not swimming, they don't need to participate in the swim check. They would if they do any kind of free swim later in the week. But we'll talk more about aquatics later as well. If there's no other questions, next slide, please.
Really quick, I just want to go back and make sure we answer Greg's question about if there's room in the parking area for troop gear trailers.
Yeah, there's room in the parking lot.
Yeah, definitely we'll be able to back you in and rooms for trailers.
We fit them before, so
Yeah. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the amenities that we have at camp. We do have Wi-Fi, and we'll be giving coupons or access codes to each adult, and they're good for a block of data. And the best way to explain that kind of is it's the amount of data. So we're using Starlink for our internet, so we're not sucking it through a straw anymore, but we've got a big straw now. But we still need to limit the amount of data that you use. So you get a block of data, and then if you use that data up, you can buy more data, is basically what it works out to. There's things to remember, and we'll remind you of this when you check in, to turn off automatic updates on your phones. If you have like Google Docs and things that update, make sure you have all those turned off because those will chew up data in the background, especially updates. That's another one that's going to kill you. I know for the adults, the Wi-Fi is very important, so I kind of want to cover that as much as possible. As Michael said earlier, we have two shower houses. One is located at the south side of the camp and one's at the north side. Every shower and bathroom we have in camp are individual stalls. So there are no male, female, there is no AM, PM showers, adult showers versus youth. Everything is a single use shower stall or bathroom. So you just go in, lock the door, and do what you need to do, and then come back out. So trading post, we have a trading post on site. They'll have plenty of things in there, including snacks, souvenirs, t-shirts, drinks, other types of souvenirs like hats and shirts and things like that. So let's see, we do have access to washing machines, but they're more on an emergency one. So, oops. If somebody has an accident or something, please just the easiest way is to let either the office or the nurse know, and we can give you access to laundry facilities and get those going. We also have spare sleeping bags in the health lodge if that type of emergency comes up. Speaking of the health lodge, we do have somebody there that's for around 24 hours. If they're not in the health lodge, there'll either be a note on the front of the health lodge or a walkie-talkie to contact them. They're somewhere in camp walking around, but they go a little stir crazy staying in there the whole day. Coffee is available in the dining hall 24 hours. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the charging stations. So if you have anything from cell phones to computers to CPAP machines, you can check it out by troop. And it's just got an AC plug in it and a locking door, and you can charge whatever you want. You keep the key for the whole week and just return the key at the end of the week. We also have an extensive adult education program. We do OLS, Scoutmaster specifics, and depending on what your requests are, we can do things like climb on safely, safe swim defense, other adult trainings. And our special one that we do is nap on safely. So every adult will want to make sure they can do that. All right. Yes. Next one. All right, so this is our dining hall. Picture from the outside and the inside. Why don't you go ahead and go to the next slide? We do eat everything family style. So what that means is you're at a table of 11 people. You'll have a steward, which is provided by your troop, that will come in and set the table and put the food on the table, and also the drinks, and then they will restock things as we need it. As I mentioned earlier, vegetarian is not an option. It is available every meal. So we just need to know how many vegetarians you have. And there's multiple places to put that, again, in your health form and mainly in Black Pug when you're filling that out. As I also mentioned, again, any dietary restrictions or any parent or scoutmaster that wants to talk to me beforehand, I'm more than available. And I'd be more than happy to talk and discuss different dietary restrictions. We do have facilities to store food in the dining hall and only in the dining hall. So if you have some special needs, you can store them there, and then we can either heat them up for you, or you can heat them up with, we have microwaves and stuff available in that area. But there is a refrigerator in there we can use for alternative foods. And we talked about stewards. And then our dining hall has seating both inside and outside. So depending on the week, we will be using both inside and outside. If it's a smaller group, we'll just be using the inside. So it just depends on the week. All right, were there any questions anybody had in there?
We've
Looks like there's a
got
few in
two.
the,
Okay, anything, Danny?
Yeah. So Chris was asking how much is a block of Wi-Fi?
So a block of Wi-Fi is
$20.
a terabyte of data, and it's $20 for
A gigabyte of data.
a gigabyte
One
of
gig.
data. I'm sorry, a gigabyte.
give me a
Thank you.
terabyte.
Gigabyte, and it's $10 for a refill.
Okay.
So
And
for
then
another-
we've also got Dan asking about the staging their gear in the flag meadow. Are they going to pick it up later, or is the vehicle going to move it?
So depending on the campsite you're in, if you're in some of our very high campsites, the ones we call closer to God, we will help transport that gear up to your campsite. So we'll let you know before you get there which is going to be your option. And we'll either take it up, or we'll have the troop guide work with you to take it up to your campsite yourselves.
I think that's all so far.
Great.
Okay.
All right. As has been said, our camp has, you'll get some exercise going to your campsites, varying exercise depending on, as Bruce said, how close to God you are. But that's a good thing, you know, you gotta get out, but everything is very close to program as was mentioned in the beginning. Everything's probably within a less than 5 minute walk to the programs. So as we do have the campsites may be shared depending on how many people are in your group, or you may have multiple campsites, and that you probably have that information already as you signed up. So go to the next page. Thank you. So each campsite has canvas tents with wood platforms, essentially a 2-person tent if you think about cots, but we do not have cots. And you can sleep, usually 2 people, 2 scouts. If we've seen 3 at times, leaders can use their own tent. There was a question about, yes, leaders will be sleeping in the same tents, not the same tent, but the same tents as their scouts. Each campsite has access to 2 flushing toilets, as well as a hand washing station, a water fountain, and a hose for campsite cleanup. It was mentioned earlier that all the campsites, there's two groups of showers in the campsite areas. Each campsite essentially is the left side of the hill and the right side of the hill. So depending on which campsite you're in, you'll see which one's closer to you. Each site has a flagpole and an American flag, a picnic table with a rain fly, campfire ring with the broom, shovel, and rake as fire tools. Fires are allowed depending on whether we're allowed by the Forest Service. So hopefully, if it's a good summer, they should be allowed most of the time. But there's that possibility that they wouldn't be. Next slide. Each side also has a patrol box for the flag, refillable supplies, the toilet paper, soap, the urinal supplies, feminine hygiene products, etc. As you need replacements of those, that's where you'll work with your commissioner on a daily basis to get those updated. So as part of the routine, the daily routine, you would be cleaning your campsite. There's a bulletin board that includes, among other things, a blank fire chart and a duty roster. It will be your responsibility when you get to camp to get those filled out so that before the end of the first day. It's been mentioned before, but there's no electricity on that side of the hill. So as it was also mentioned about the charging lock boxes. So if you do have a CPAP, plan ahead with the rechargeable batteries. There are no cots provided for either adults or youth. Do we still have them available for renting? We may have them available.
We do have some for rent.
Okay, we may have them available for rent. Just, send us an email and ask. No food in campsites. There are no bear boxes. Knock on wood, we have not had bear problems recently, but that's not to say we haven't had them in the past. It is important to make sure that your scouts don't sneak their candy across the river, because that could cause problems. Any questions out there on?
Yeah, there seems to be quite a few questions. So let me take the one on food. So you do all of your eating in the dining hall. We don't have any troop cooking or provide any food to go over to the campsites. If you do decide to do, let's say you want to do a Dutch oven dessert up in your campsite, that's fine, as long as you clean everything out and take it back to your car before bed. That's including empty the garbage and everything like that. Because as Tom said, we've had bears, but no problems recently. We want to kind of keep it that way. What other questions do we have in there, Danny?
I'll take the campsite inspection. Yeah, so it looks like, Michael, you caught a lot of them, but the campsite inspections, yes, there'll be a daily inspection with your commissioner. That'll be your chance to talk to them about any issues in the camp, as well as projects or anything else, merit badge questions, or anything else you want to work with them. They'll be assigned to you for the whole week. So besides the inspection day, you'll have the available anytime you want to talk to them. Firewood,
Should be
We
plenty
have
of-
firewood on site. We have
okay,
plenty.
firewood on site, thank you. Luggage on wheels, sure, I guess, if it'll wheel up there.
It's a very dusty road, so you will get the wheels gunked up a bit, but we also have wagons that you can use to take stuff up.
Yeah, and obviously if we drive it up. Let's see, we talked to food provided, that's already been discussed. All the food is at the dining hall.
So for the solo campers, we have two different programs. One, we have hired, and look at that there he is right on the screen as I mention it. Chris there, who will be our scoutmaster for solo campers. But if we only have one or two, we might marry those up with a troop that we know. So it kind of depends on how many we have during the week. But we have hired to have a solo campmaster or scoutmaster, which is Chris, and he'll take care of that, watching over the scouts that are on the solo program.
Campsites do have fire pits, and it's the troop responsibility to make sure that you have the proper leadership to manage the fire.
All right, we're gonna move on to Michael and keep answering some questions in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I was trying to comment on a few of them. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Saga of High Sierra. So if you take a look at that photo of Chris, you can see that he's wearing a whole bunch of beads. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Next slide, please. So the Saga of High Sierra is our camp service organization. The reason why it's called the Saga is we wanted to focus mainly on stories that we create as we go through this journey that we call life, and through other people's through our scouting journeys. So the main thing is that there are 4 main ranks in the Saga. We have Seeker, Guardian, Trailblazer, Legend, and a kind of special honor for Great Legend, which are symbolized by these beads. If you are looking at my screen, those are the special rank beads. You'll get a bead after doing
everything.
certain activities, like if you do a 1 hour service project, if you're living the values of the Scout Oath and Scout Law, if you steward, if you attend campfire, things like that, you'll end up getting a different colored bead. And you'll get a bead sheet that you mark off all of the requirements through the week as you go through. Adult leaders, you can come into the office and just pick up as many beads as you need. Go ahead and put them in a Ziploc bag, and you can give those out to your scouts. There's no real special permission needed in order to pick up beads in the office. If you have attended previous summer camps and they've done similar projects, and say your scout has been to, 3 different summer camps and done a whole bunch of different things, all they need to do is pop by the office or find any senior staff member who is a great legend, and we can help, figure out what rank in the saga makes sense for them, and we'll get them all up to speed. And then we'll have ceremonies and things like that Friday night after the campfire. Yeah, I think that's it. Next slide, please.
Real fast. Oh my god.
One thing I just wanted to
Uh,
kind of talk on there, and Michael mentioned it though. We don't need to worry about toothpaste and smellable things in the campsites. All the bears are over at our neighbors at Yosemite, and they're the ones that have to worry about toothpaste and things like that. So we don't have to worry to that level. So it's just mainly food that we do have to worry about. All right, so we're all the way to checkout. So at the end of the week, we will create a form. We do not use blue cards in camp. We do everything through Blackpug, and we'll print out an advancement statement at the end of the week, and it'll show your scout, and either it'll say for merit badge A, they're complete, or a merit badge B, they completed items 1 through 7 and still need to do 9 and 10, or 8, 9, and 10.
You also get a download from Blackbook.
Yep, I was about to say that. Good. Also, we give an opportunity, if you're in camp, you get the best rates for the next year. And how much was it cheaper this year, Michael? $25 a scout?
At least 25, if not $30 cheaper.
Yeah, to sign up in camp for the next year, and you get to pick what campsites you want. So if you want a lower campsite or you like the one you're in, you get first priority of that for that week. Troop guides and commissioners will come by and check you out on Saturday morning, and you'll go by once you get done checking out of your campsite and it's cleared out, you'll come down to the office, make sure everything's squared up there, and then you'll get your health forms back from the health office, and you're off on your merry way. All right, next slide. All right, so we do have another leaders meeting coming up on the 2nd. We'll get more into the merit badges and how to sign up for merit badges and the program guide and the leaders guide. The leaders guide is up and released, and I think the program guide is too, and that's available on our resource page on camphighsierra.org. Merit badge signups are May 20th through the 22nd. And we'll talk about more of those at the next leaders meeting. And then if for some odd coincidence you're by High Sierra and would like to stop in, please email our ranger, Eric, and he'd be more than happy to let you come in and just kind of walk around and check things out. All right, next slide.
Oh, that's me. Awesome. That is me. I will introduce you to our SPL program, or adult education, and a little bit about our staff. So for our SPL program, we offer a free SPL training and merit badge week where they can come a week ahead or potentially stay a week after for free and be able to take any merit badges that they would like. We also offer an SPL 101 training where we're going to go over different things like leadership, communication, patrol method, etc., to help your SPLs learn more so that when they're up with your troop during your Scouts Week, they'll be able to focus more on the leadership aspect of being an SPL at camp and not necessarily be taking a full schedule of badges and not have as much time for that SPL role at camp. Because they'll be up a week ahead, they'll also be fairly more familiar with the specifics for Camp High Sierra. They can help brief your scouts on what to expect in the dining hall and their badges and all that kind of stuff, and any new things that have been added in 2025. For adult education, we also have many different trainings. So we offer IOLS in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we have various other trainings, including things like Leave No Trace and Climb On Safely that adults can go to. And we may also have some other trainings that pop up depending on who's available. And we also want you guys to have fun. All of our adults are always encouraged to participate in our open program and our skills of the day, which are just extra fun activities that you can do, including things like learning how to make new knots, going swimming with aquatics, going on a daily hike or bike, all those kind of things. The next slide. With our staff, we have a counselor and training program, which is where we'll have 14 to 15-year-olds who are training to be staff members, helping in different areas. So they'll be there for 2 weeks. You may see them observing if they're in their first week at camp, or you'll see them working in an area in their second week. And they're just like any of our other staff working in that capacity. Your youth are more than welcome to apply for the upcoming summer. So for 2026, if any of your youth seem interested in being a staff member and they're under the age of 16, they are more than welcome to apply for the CIT training. As far as our staff is going to be NCAP trained and certified. And it's just a bunch of really amazing, talented folks who are really good with scouts, awesome at teaching their badges. And of course, we're always looking for more staff for our program, and your youth as well are more than welcome to apply for the 2026 season, especially if they're inspired by what they see this year in our staffing.
Perfect. We're excited to have a couple new facilities to show off and let your scouts use and utilize. We are a 4-season camp, so we're proud to say that we've had over 2,000 people come to camp in the first 3 months of the year. There is snow, or was snow, and now it's rapidly melting again. But we're excited to have a new parking lot to control the dust, make sure that we have a safe entry into the camp. We're also adding 4 program pavilions. It is the Sierras. We will get an occasional summer thunderstorm, and so this gives us a dry place for scouts to gather. Also provide shade, some year-round storage. Really excited to have 4 of these new facilities right in the heart of camp. During camp in 2024, we were under construction for a new observatory. So we have a 14-inch LEED telescope on a 10-foot dome in this really awesome pillar of concrete. We think it's one of the largest and most unique version of this that we've seen in the country. We're really excited to add it as a bonus feature for Astronomy Merit Badge. And for those that are taking it, they can now complete one of the optional requirements of going to an observatory. We just located a little bit more conveniently in the camp that they get to come into. We also have some technology that we're implementing this year to stream that image to our dining hall so that others that would want to see it happen to be in the dining hall can do so. And one of the passion projects of myself and Tom Lakovic here is making sure that we update our digital signage boards in camp so that you can see what's going on throughout camp, what's coming up for menu, and a bunch of informational bulletins throughout the week. So we'll be doing that. So really quite excited about that. We're going to pause for questions here in a minute. We're almost to the end of our slides. Anything in the questions, Danny, that you want us to bring up?
Um, I had a couple that I wanted to go back to. Laura asked a little bit ago, we weren't able to answer it back then. If they were to bring food, would they be able to store it in the dining hall?
It's a great question. You want to answer it, Bruce?
Sure. Yeah, you can either store it in your car or in the dining hall. There is places to place a bag of things next to the refrigerator. So either place is fine.
We do have an
Cool.
alternative refrigerator available for those that need something for an alternative diet in our Kim room in between our main dining hall and the restrooms. So if you're going to bring a specialty diet food to be reheated, you certainly have those refrigeration spaces available to you as well.
Anything
All right,
else?
we'll take a pause and let Bruce
Yeah,
start, and then we'll take some more questions.
Oh.
Okay, so we do have another event coming up before camp, or two of them actually. So what we have is called Adopt a Campsite. And what that is this is where volunteers, troops, any registered Scouting America people that want to come up can come up over Labor Day weekend for $30. We'll cook all the food and give you a place to stay. And what we ask is helping us in setting up the campsite. So raking the pine needles, setting up the tents, and we have a good time. We watch a movie on the giant screen. Can't see where it's at, but behind Michael's head there, that giant window, there's a screen that covers that whole window. So it's a good time for watching movies in there. Also, I'm sure we'll have the observatory open so you can go peek at the stars through the observatory also. And that is May 24th through the 26th. And then we also have an ordeal coming up May 31st through the 2nd. And obviously, you need to be a registered member of the OA to come to that. And you can contact us if you're interested in doing that too. All right, next slide.
All right, that's a me slide. Danny, we'll cover this slide and then prep for the next level of questions. It is that time of the year that we're rapidly approaching our final payment. Final payment has two main reasons to make sure that you're timely. One is that it makes sure that your scouts can sign up for merit badges. Two, if you add scouts after May 15th or are not fully, April 15th, or are not fully paid by April 15th, there's a $25 per youth or per adult charge. So we really want to make sure that you're talking to your troop treasurer now and that you're making those payments. We'll reiterate this for the all leaders meeting coming up as well, but it's certainly very important. So I'll turn it back to Bruce and Danny for answering some questions, and then we'll get to our last couple slides.
Our first one from Josh is, are there any policies regarding the use of FRS, GMRS, or any similar handheld radios for adult leaders?
No, you're more than welcome to bring them. We use GMRS radios ourselves for within camp for the troop. Long as you're not on the same channel that we're on, we're fine with using radios. One thing I didn't mention earlier when I was talking about the internet, we are now getting small cell reception actually in camp. So if you do have AT&T or T-Mobile in certain spots, if you lift a leg up and hold your hand up right, you'll get cell reception also and internet reception, but no Verizon, unfortunately. What other questions we have, Danny?
The only other one we got is about wetsuits. Are they allowed for the swim test?
So
Michael,
that's one thing that we're working on right now. Kind of the belief we've had or the policy we've had in the past is we haven't really had it for swim tests, but for the life-saving merit badge right now, we're saying no, but we're talking to National about that. Our feeling is if you're dealing with an emergency and you're in the life-saving merit badge, you're not going to have time to put on a wetsuit to go save somebody. So we'll get back to you on wetsuits for swim checks.
I'll make a note.
We certainly lean towards yes, because
Yeah.
it's cold. All right. Camperships. We are extremely blessed to have a larger than average campership pool of funds available this year. There is a deadline coming up. We'll be emailing all registered folks. We want to make sure that all camperships are applied for, approved, and in your account before you make your final payment, so we don't have to do a money dance back and forth. So April 11th is that magical day, and we want them all in sooner than that if we can. It's income based, and if you happen to come to another High Sierra event this year, you can apply for both the campership for regular camp and an event on this. Come one, come all. We'd love to understand how to get as many families to High Sierra as possible. Here's a list of the things that are available: adopt a campsite, summer camp, Eagle Achievement Week, 4th of July adventure camp, the family camp, and then Labor Day. So love to do that. And we're going to allow for unmuting. I'm going to stop sharing so we can see everybody's faces. Me too. Control Zoom abilities. I know they're all fun.
So if you do have a question at this point, you can go ahead and unmute yourself, and I know some of them are kind of hard to type everything into the chat, so we wanted to give you some time here at the end to ask questions and make sure
Just allowed that for the group. It was off until now, so everybody can, if you could raise your hand using the hand gesture, that's preferred. We'll call on you. If we don't have anybody with the hand raised, we can also just have them shout it out. We talk over each other, we'll figure it out.
Hey, Bruce,
Yes.
do you guys need anything for us to bring to your camp from the civilized town? Coffee, drink, food, whatever?
We're always open for coffee, chocolate, any of that stuff's always good.
Okay, just let me know what
Uh-huh.
we want to bring to you.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Rohan.
Yeah. What is Black Pug and how do we access it to pay?
Okay.
Thanks.
I'll let Michael answer that.
Sure. So Black Pug is the registration system. It is what the troops use to express interest, make sure that they know which scouts are coming and their appropriate information. And then on the day that the registration goes live, one person from the troop basically signs up everybody in a gold rush style, right? So it's we open up all of our registration at 7 p.m. on different nights for like different meetings. We'll do that to make sure that everybody has a fair chance at the same pool of scouting resources. So we know that everybody should, and we encourage you all to be on at 7 to do this. By 7:15, things like welding or metalwork or one of the communication merit badges might have a wait list in certain sections. So it's a good practice to be on at 7 p.m. on the particular night.
Thank you.
Another good thing on Black Pug is making sure, and we'll talk about this in the other leaders meeting, that you've already got all your scouts registered in there and that all their information's already in there, because you don't want to show up at 7 o'clock and then have to register 14 scouts before you can start entering in their merit badges.
Okay.
If you've used Black Pug at other camps, that information will come right over. So that's one of the nice things about Black Pug. All right, Maggie, you got a question.
Hi, yeah, my question was about tents. I'm pretty sure you guys have cabins, but I just wanted to double check that we do not need a tent.
And sorry, could you repeat that a little bit? You're kind of breaking up. Tents and what?
I think it's a grocery store. The question was about tents. If we need to bring our own tent, I did hear you guys talk about cabins, and I wasn't sure about I did hear you guys say about 2 people sleeping per tent, but also the cabin was mentioned, so that's where the confusion was.
So the cabins are for the staff members. The canvas tents in the campsites are for the scouters and the adult leaders. There are some extra flat areas in campsites, so if you wanted to bring your own tent and put that up, you can do that also. I've seen people pitch tents inside of tents. Um, that's kind of up to you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it sounds like tents will be provided, or you can
Yes.
bring your own tent.
Yes,
Okay.
every campsite has tents in it, and if you look on the registration page that you signed up on, it shows how many tents you have in your campsite. All right, Mike.
Hey guys, great presentation. I had a question about, we're working out transportation for our scouts to camp, and we might have some parents who are going to just drive up, to deliver scouts and not going to be there for the whole week, or drive up to pick up at the end of the week. Is there options for those parents to stay for one night so they don't have to drive up 3 or 4 hours and then drive home 3 or 4 hours on the same day?
Yeah, we have a family camp area. The one restriction is they have to be registered adults. They have to be registered with Scouting America, otherwise we can't have them spend the night. But
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So if they have AB 506 and they're registered adults,
Yep.
they could spend one night. And do they need to pay a fee for that, or is that?
no, it's free, but they can buy a meal if they want to buy into dinner and things like that
Perfect.
the first night. So if you could let us know ahead of time that, you may have 3 extra parents, that helps us just with the food count on the first night or the last night.
Absolutely. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you very much.
Ravi.
Okay, this is Arjun. I am my dad's son. My dad is Ravi.
Okay.
He had a question. I'm like a new scout. I transferred to Troop 1855 from Pack 1855 only in like February.
Excellent.
His question was that do new scouts like me typically go to summer camp like on their first year or something?
So I'm a scoutmaster too, and I think having new scouts go their first year is probably one of the most important things in scouting. I found with my troop, if I have scouts go that first year, they'll last longer in scouting and form those bonds with their friends that first year that they'll have for the rest of their lives. So I say wholeheartedly yes.
Okay, thank you for this.
Sure.
There's a question about pre-buy t-shirts. We are still working on a pre-buy t-shirt this year, so we'll stay tuned for that. There was also a question on tent platform size. You want to handle that one, Bruce?
Sure. The tent platform size are 8 feet by 10 feet. So they're 8 feet wide and 10 feet deep. There's plywood, so you're off the ground. You can either use an air mattress, or if you want to bring a cot and put that in. And as we mentioned, we do have a few cots for rent for I think they're $10 or $15 for the week.
Okay.
Other questions? All right, well, we're getting to the witching hour here. It's almost been an hour, so thank you everybody for being here. We appreciate you spending the time with us tonight. We're definitely looking forward to seeing all of you this summer. We'll hang out here for another, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. And if you have any questions that pop into your mind as we go, please feel free. Otherwise, have a great night, and we'll see you this summer.
Looks like there's a question there
What was that?
there's a hand up.
Hi, what is an open program menu?
Oh, that's a great question. I meant to ask, bring that up earlier. So one of the things that we've just noticed at camp is kids get over-programmed. Like in school, they're forced to take a lot of classes. So in the afternoons, if they want to leave an open block, we have what's called open program. And we offer a lot of different activities like tie-dyeing a shirt. We've had the Miwok Indians show up. We do patch trading. There's just a lot of different activities that we have open in the afternoon. So the kids can just have fun, or they can go to the trading post and play chess, or they can just play in the river. It's just time for the kids to be kids. But we put some program to it so they can do some more other fun things.
Okay, thank you. I
Sure.
have one more question. The art museum, for the art merit badge, it says you have to go to 8 museums. How do we show the proof that you have gone to
Is-
8 museums or so?
I don't remember it being 8 museums.
Art museum, okay.
Art museums, not 8 art museums.
It's just an art
Yeah.
museum.
Oh,
And
okay.
How do you prove
Yes,
a
so-
prerequisite has been accomplished? is
So
what
just
we're
a
gonna
note
do,
from the
right?
parent is all we need.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
they
Okay.
they can also bring other forms of proof. So, for instance, if they got a ticket stub or something like that from the art museum showing that they went, they can bring that and show that to the counselor as well, along with like photographs from some of their exhibits.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question about sharing the presentations. How you share the presentation? Are you going to share to the main person that registered for the
Yes, the
Zoom?
main person that registered for tonight, we will send them the recording from tonight as well as the slide deck that you saw. And
Okay.
they'll go to that
Be a
person.
PDF that comes out after this meeting and some other useful links and items will come from me, Michael Wilson. Anybody that registered, you can be in this Zoom, you had to provide an email, and we'll send it to anybody that we have an email for as well for being Black Bug as an adult so far. They're 100% shareable. There's nothing that shouldn't be sent out and regurgitated by anybody. So by all means, share away, forward away.
All
Rohan,
right. Thank you.
Rohan, you had another question?
Yeah, so about the medical forms.
Uh-huh.
So if you have them completed, so once you arrive there, do you just give it to the office or does some process have to happen?
So there is a process. Every scout will have their own medical form in their hand, not in a plastic sleeve, just the medical form itself. As you go to the health lodge, and you'll hand that to the nurse or one of her assistants or their assistant and check in. If you're pre-checked in through the council office and had your health form already checked, then you can help bypass that system by having the forms already checked. And we'll talk about more of that in the next leaders meeting.
Okay. So when is the next leaders meeting?
April 2nd, I think.
April 2nd.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we're gonna stick around for just a couple more minutes. I think we're getting to the tail end of our questions. Really appreciate everybody. If you got one, shout one.
I have a question, but I can't find the little hand to raise my hand on my
No worries.
That's fine.
phone. I have a question. I was asked by a parent. If there were to be an emergency, how soon does the emergency vehicles or emergency personnel get up to the campsite?
That's a great question. So we are about 15, 20 minutes away from CAL FIRE. And so they know that we're there. Sonora Police knows we're there. The hospital knows we're there. Everybody on the hill knows we're there. So if there is an emergency on the hill, I get a phone call. We do have landlines there into camp as well as the internet. We get notified, and then if depending on the emergency, CAL FIRE basically will take lead and tell us what to do.
Thank you so much. That would give the parent more peace of mind.
No problem.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a quick question. Actually, it's a follow-up question
Sure.
regarding the parents who are the registered adults. If they want to visit, couple nights or one night, what is the process? Like, do we need to just send an email to you guys, or is it we have to register ahead?
You just need to send an email to me, and again, they have to be registered with Scouting America. If you want to spend the night, they've got to be registered.
Okay, so is it only one night or couple nights is allowed?
We prefer just people staying Sunday night when they check in, and again on Friday night when they're checking out.
Oh shoot, Dad, it's 8.
Oh, so we can't do it in the middle of the week. It should be
No
only the
restart.
beginning or the
Sorry.
ending.
Check
No,
your
your papers and stuff like that, okay?
All right, that's fair.
Hold on a second. I got somebody that's not me. Yeah, if they want to come to visit during the day, during the week, that's okay, but we won't have anybody spending the night during the week. It's only on the, the dropping off or the picking up at the ends.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I have a follow-up question about the staffing. Basically, how many staff that we have to cover this campsite?
So we have between 60 and 65 staff there on camp all the time.
All right.
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Rohan?
Yeah, so about the layout, when you get to the camp, will there be a map there? And if so, where can we get it?
So in the leader's guide that's on the High Sierra Pit website, and also I think it's just the map is there as its own resource. You can get it today. You can go there right now and click on it, download it, and print it.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. We appreciate everybody spending some time with us this evening. chs@svmbc.org is our preferred email that goes to many of us on this call to be able to triage and help. We are here to help make sure your youth have an amazing week at summer camp. Ask the questions, come to a leaders meeting. We will be sending out notes and improving FAQs with the information that we gained tonight. Appreciate everybody's dedication to scouting. We will see you either digitally in this box one more time between here and camp, or 3D in a real space with real trees, real dust, real kids. So wonderful to see all y'all tonight. And, have a great rest of the evening.
Thank you.